Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Speaking Flow podcast. If you are joining us for the very first time, this is your safe space to learn English. We don't just talk about grammar or vocabulary here, we talk about the human side of learning a language. The emotions, the fears, and the psychology behind it all. Grab a cup of coffee or tea, make yourself comfortable, and let's dive into today's deeply important topic.
Hello everyone, it is so wonderful to be here with you again. Today, we are tackling a monster. It is a monster that almost every single language learner has faced at least once. And for many, it happens every single day. We are talking about the dreaded English brain freeze. You know exactly what I mean. It is that terrifying moment when someone asks you a question in English, and suddenly, your mind just goes completely blank.
Oh, absolutely. It is such a heavy, frustrating feeling. Let's paint a picture of how this usually happens. Imagine you are sitting in a meeting at work. You've prepared your notes, you know the subject matter perfectly, and you feel relatively calm. Then, your foreign manager turns to you and says, "So, what are your thoughts on this new project strategy?" In your native language, you could answer this brilliantly for 10 minutes straight. But in English, your throat tightens. Your heart starts beating faster.
Exactly. And the most frustrating part is that you know the vocabulary. You learned these words years ago. You can read them in a book perfectly fine. You can listen to a podcast and understand 95% of it. But in that specific moment, when the spotlight is on you and another human being is waiting for your response, it feels like an invisible brick wall crashes down between your brain and your mouth. You just stare at them, panicking on the inside, while there is total silence on the outside.
And then what happens next is almost funny in a tragic way. The meeting ends. You walk away feeling defeated, maybe a little embarrassed. You go to the bathroom, or you step outside to get some fresh air, and 5 minutes later, boom! The perfect English sentence magically pops into your head. You think, why didn't I say that? It was right there! The Germans actually have a beautiful word for this phenomenon. They call it Treppenwitz, which translates to staircase wit. It means thinking of the perfect reply when you are already walking down the stairs to leave.
That is such a perfect description. Staircase wit. So, why does this happen? Today, we really want to validate your experience and tell you a very important truth. Your brain is not broken. Your English is not as bad as you think it is, and you are not stupid. What you are experiencing is not a language problem at all. It is a biological and psychological response. It is your nervous system trying to protect you.
Let's break down the science of the brain freeze. Deep inside your brain, there is a tiny, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Think of the amygdala as your brain's personal security alarm system. Its only job is to scan your environment for danger and keep you alive. Thousands of years ago, this danger was a tiger hiding in the bushes. Today, for an English learner, that tiger is the fear of being judged, the fear of making a mistake, or the fear of looking foolish in front of a native speaker.
Right. When that manager asks you a question, your amygdala perceives a social threat. It immediately rings the alarm bell. It sends a message to your body saying, "We are in danger. We need to survive." This triggers the famous fight, flight, or freeze response. Your body gets flooded with adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormones. Your heart beats faster to pump blood to your muscles, so you can run away. But you can't run away from a meeting room, so your body chooses the third option: it freezes.
And here is the most fascinating and unfair part about how our brains work. When your body is flooded with cortisol, survival becomes the only priority. Your brain literally shuts down non-essential functions to save energy for survival. And guess what the brain considers non-essential when it thinks a tiger is chasing you? Language processing. The prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain where your English vocabulary and grammar rules are stored, gets temporarily blocked. You literally lose access to your own knowledge.
It is an incredible biological mechanism, but highly inconvenient for an English learner. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do, but in the wrong context. So, when you can't remember the word for development or strategy, it is not because you have a bad memory. It is because your biological alarm system has locked the door to the vocabulary room. Once the meeting is over, the threat is gone, your cortisol levels drop, the door unlocks, and suddenly, you can remember the words again. That is your staircase wit.
This biological reaction is amplified by a second major problem, the cognitive overload caused by translating in your head. Let's talk about the translation trap. Many learners have the habit of processing English through their native language. Let's look at what happens in your brain when you do this. First, you hear the English question. Step 1. You translate that question into your native language. Step 2. You formulate an intelligent answer in your native language. Step 3. You try to translate that complex answer back into English.
And step 4, right before you open your mouth, you apply the perfectionism filter. You quickly check or wait, is it past tense or present perfect? Should I use in on or at here? Did I pronounce the sound correctly? All of this mental gymnastics is happening in the span of 2 seconds. Your brain is basically a computer processor, and your working memory is the RAM. Translating back and forth while checking grammar is like opening 100 heavy video, editing applications on an old laptop.
Exactly! What happens to a computer when you open too many heavy tabs? The spinning wheel of death appears. The screen freezes. The system crashes. That crash is the exact moment you go blank. You are demanding too much from your working memory all at once. The human brain can only hold a very small amount of new information in its active memory at any given time. By translating and self-editing, you are completely overloading the system.
So, we have two massive forces working against you: the biological fight or flight response caused by anxiety, and the cognitive system crash caused by translating and perfectionism. Now that we understand the enemy, how do we defeat it? How do we melt this brain freeze and get our speaking flow back? We are going to give you a step-by-step psychological and practical toolkit to fix this.
Step number 1 is all about nervous system regulation. Before you can fix your English, you have to fix your biology. You need to tell your amygdala that there is no tiger in the room. You have to turn off the alarm system. And the fastest, most effective way to communicate safety to your brain is through your breath. When you feel the panic rising, when you feel the freeze coming on, do not try to force words out. Pause.
Take a very deliberate, deep breath. Inhale through your nose, and make sure your exhale through your mouth is longer than your inhale. A long exhale physically slows down your heart rate. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest mode. It is the biological opposite of fight or flight. Even a 2-second pause to take one deep breath can lower your cortisol levels enough to unlock that vocabulary room in your brain.
Along with breathing, you need a radical mindset shift. Step number 2 is shifting your focus from perfection to connection. When we freeze, our internal dialogue is usually very self-centered. We are thinking, how do I sound right now? Am I making a fool of myself? They probably think my accent is terrible. My grammar is a disaster. We are placing the entire spotlight on ourselves and our insecurities.
You have to take that spotlight and turn it around. Shine it on the other person and the message you want to deliver. Ask yourself, what is the one simple, core idea that I want to share with this human being right now? Language was not invented to pass grammar tests. It was invented to connect humans. If the other person understands your idea, the communication is 100% successful. Even if you forgot an S on a plural noun, or you used the wrong preposition.
I completely agree. No native speaker is holding a red pen in their hand while you speak, ready to grade you. They are just listening to your ideas. Once you truly accept that perfection is an illusion, the pressure drops significantly. Step number 3 is a highly practical communication strategy you need to learn how to buy time.
Yes, buying time is crucial. In real-life conversations, silence feels much longer to you than it does to the listener. 2 seconds of silence feels like 2 hours when you are panicking. But native speakers pause all the time. We hesitate, we think, we restart our sentences. The difference is, we use fillers to show that we are thinking, rather than just freezing in terror.
Exactly. You need to arm yourself with a set of natural filler phrases. Think of these phrases as a bridge. While your mouth is saying the filler phrase automatically, your brain is running across the bridge to find the vocabulary you need. For example, instead of panicking, you can smile slightly, nod, and say, "That is a really interesting question. Let me think about that for a second."
Or you could say, I haven't really thought about it from that angle before, but I would say. Or simply, well, to be honest with you, these phrases are incredibly natural. They make you sound more fluent, not less. And most importantly, they give your overloaded brain 2 or 3 extra seconds to calm down, stop translating, and retrieve the English words. It takes the pressure of instant response completely off your shoulders.
That brings us to step number 4, which is my personal favorite: lower the bar. I mean, lower it all the way to the floor. When you feel a brain freeze coming, your perfectionist brain is usually trying to construct a masterpiece. You are trying to build a beautiful, complex sentence with advanced vocabulary and relative clauses. Stop doing that. When you are drowning, you don't try to swim beautifully, you just try to float.
I love that analogy, just float. Go back to the absolute basics of English grammar. Subject, verb, object. Keep your sentences painfully simple. Short, punchy sentences are actually very powerful in business communication anyway. If your manager asks about the project, do not try to say, "Due to unforeseen circumstances regarding the logistical supply chain, we have experienced a slight delay." That is a cognitive trap.
Right? Just say, "The project is a little late. We have a problem with the delivery. We are fixing it right now." Simple, clear, effective. When you lower the bar and allow yourself to speak in basic, simple blocks, you build momentum. Once you say the first simple sentence successfully, your brain realizes, "Hey, I didn't die. The tiger didn't eat me." Your confidence rises, the cortisol drops, and the next sentence will naturally become more complex and fluent.
Momentum is everything. Start small to unlock the flow. And the final step, step number 5, is perhaps the most important one for long-term success: practice free. Speaking in a safe environment. You need to train your brain to speak without the perfectionism filter. You have to teach your nervous system that it is safe to make mistakes.
How do we do that? By talking to ourselves. Spend just 5 minutes a day alone in your room. Set a timer on your phone. Choose a random, simple topic like what you ate for breakfast or a movie you just watched. Hit the start button and just talk out loud. The only rule is you cannot stop, you cannot translate, and you absolutely cannot correct your mistakes.
If you say "yesterday I go," just ignore it and keep pushing forward. If you forget a word, describe it using other words. If you forget the word umbrella, say the thing you hold when it rains. The goal of this exercise is not accuracy. The goal is flow. You are intentionally building the habit of moving forward despite imperfections. You are rewiring your brain to stop crashing when an error occurs.
Over time, this free speaking practice builds a deep sense of resilience. The next time you are in a meeting and you make a mistake or forget a word, your brain won't hit the panic button. It will just smoothly navigate around the obstacle, like water flowing around a rock in a river. That is what true fluency is. It is not the absence of mistakes, it is the ability to keep the connection going despite the mistakes.
That is beautifully said. Fluency is resilience. We have covered so much today. We talked about the biology of fear, the amygdala, the cognitive overload of translating, and the practical steps to overcome it, breathing to regulate your nervous system, focusing on connection over perfection, using filler words to buy time, keeping your sentences brutally simple, and practicing free speaking.
We know that overcoming this brain freeze takes time. It is a journey of unlearning bad habits and learning how to be kind to yourself. You have spent years being graded and judged on your English. It is completely normal that your body reacts with fear. But every time you pause, take a deep breath, and choose to speak a simple, imperfect sentence anyway, you are taking your power back.
You are showing immense courage. Every single person who speaks a second language has stood exactly where you are standing right now. The awkward pauses, the forgotten words, the red face, it is all part of the beautiful, messy process of connecting with the world. Please give yourself credit for how hard you are trying.
We are so incredibly proud of you for showing up today, for listening, and for working on your mindset. You are doing so much better than you realize. Your voice matters, your ideas matter, and the world wants to hear them, even if the grammar isn't always perfect.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today on the Speaking Flow. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with a friend who might be struggling with the same fears. And let us know in the comments below, have you ever experienced an English brain freeze? How did you handle it? We love reading your stories.
Until next time, remember to breathe, drop the heavy grammar books for a while, and just trust yourself. Keep finding your flow. Have a wonderful, peaceful week, everyone. Bye for now.
Goodbye, everyone. Take care of yourselves.